Okay, students, what do you learn in your geography lessons? Can you tell me what you learn in your geography lessons? What are the things you learn in the geography lesson? You learn about the earth, yes. You learn about the earth movement, you learn about rivers and forests and resources and soil and so many things there, yes. And in a geography lesson, we learn that this is, yes, Hargun, we learn about the different countries. You learn about disasters, you learn about the surroundings. Okay, fine, good, yeah, good. We all know so many things from our geography lessons. Now, we learn that, see, that this is my country, right? And that's another country. We know there are borders, yes. So does geography teach us that this is where the border has to be? This is where the country has to be divided? Who decides that? Who decides that? Yes, Hargun, you want to say something? Man decides that. So the geography lessons there, or you look at the earth, there are no boundaries there. Man decides that. Yes. So there are so many things here. When we look at the earth, we look at the things around us. They all look so same, so beautiful. And you go to another country, there also you'll find, you can say, similarly beautiful flowers and trees and the river flowing and the land so beautiful. And then you will wonder that what is it that makes one country different from the other? Who has made these borders? Who has made these boundaries? Right? So have you ever flown in a plane by air? Have you gone somewhere? Yes? No? Okay, so as we take off, as the aeroplane goes higher and higher, so like we are able to see our Earth from a distance, right? And yes, little high, as it's about to take off, what do we can see the buildings and all. Yes. As we go even higher, we see the buildings from the distance. I see the roads also there. I can see the river. I can see the trees. And yes, as we go even higher and higher, further higher, then we go into the clouds, and then we just cannot actually really see the things there, right? So what is the poet saying? That he was there in the plane, and as he went higher and higher, he could see the earth from the distance. He could understand that, like, yes, why my city has been built in such a way, right? We wonder, we look at our city here, and we see that, yes, the trees have been cut and the roads have been made, but when we go at a high altitude, then from that height we are able to see that why was this done? Because this road had to be widened, it had to connect it to the other place, right? These are things we are able to realize. As we go even higher and higher, we realize that along the rivers, that is where, like, of course, the fields are also nearby. And we also notice that, yes, the villages and the human inhabitation, right? And there are so many things that the poet sees about the beautiful earth. But one thing he does not see, that where are the boundaries? Where are the borders which we have made? And why did we make them? Okay, yes. So let us come to the poem. Can we discuss this poem now? Yes, can you see your books, please? Let's look at the books here. Yes, okay, yeah. Now, can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? Is there any prominent feature of our city that you would love to see from the sky? What is it famous here? What is Jalandhar famous for that you can see from the height? What would you like to see? You would like to see home? No? What would you like to see? You like to see the gardens? You'd like to see a school? You'd like to see Science City or Niku Park? Yes? So all these things you would like to see from the height, right? And yes, the poet there, as he took off in the plane, he was able to see his city from the distance, from the great height. Now, neatly planned and perfect in proportion like a geometric design. So just like you have, your plans there, and you look at it here, on the map, you are able to see that, okay, these are the houses, little squares, squares, squares. You see the roads there as these lines going, right? You see the little trees. So all these things, it looks like a beautiful picture, right? Neatly planned and perfect in proportion like a geometric design, it would strike to us as something very different from what it actually is while you are in the thick of it. Do you think it would be a beautiful sight to see a city from a height? Yes, it would be beautiful. Yeah, it would be. Yes, you'd love to see how things look from the distance. Yeah, the bird's eye view. You know what a bird's eye view now is? As the birds, they fly here and they get this view here. So similarly, like, of course, so at a height, you're able to see what the bird can see from the sky. So we're able to get that similar look. Now here, of course, he's going to see all the prominent landmarks. He's going to see the roads. He's going to see the trees, everything he's going to see. Yes. And as he flies higher and higher, the things are going to change. Even his thinking is going to change as he flies, as the plane reaches higher and higher. Okay. Till it goes above, you can say, and goes into the clouds, far higher above the land. Right. So let's start with the poem. When the jet sprang into the sky, you all have your books? Yes. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. So once the jet, what is the jet here? The aeroplane sprang as it rose higher in the sky, took off, had developed the way it had, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. So when the jet sprang into the sky, why is he saying it again and again? That things became clearer. When we are on the land, we don't realize why, what's the need of making all this? Right? Why are you making so many roads? Why these buildings? Why is that shifting over there? Why you can't leave things like it is? But as he took off in the plane, as the plane went higher and higher, he was able to see that on the land, which appears very, very haphazard. What is haphazard? Very unplanned, like, of course, all unorganized. But from the sky, it appears very nice and very clear. And here, look at this line, seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. Have you all seen maps? Yes. Have you seen maps in your social science classes? Yeah. And on that map, like, what is, there's a scale on the side. You have the key or the scale on the side. Yes. Naturally, everything cannot be shown so huge on the map. The map is a smaller version. Yes, the map is a much smaller version of the city, of the plan. And like you have there, like, what is a mile equivalent to? 6 inches. Yes, right. So here it is written, here it is 6 inches to the mile. Okay, so right, yeah, so of course inches would be very big here, so we measure over there when we do it in our classrooms, or we do it on the map here. So like, that the bigger thing is shown in a smaller way. It is scaled down, right? Usko chota kiya jata hai, so that the small things can fit on that small map. But in reality, these things are very, very big. Why have they been scaled down? To fit on the map. Okay, right? So, and as he flies higher and higher, what does it look like? What does it actually look like, the city? It looks like what we see on the map. Is this clear or not? There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned, and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Once again here, where was the poet? Where was the poet? Yes, where was the poet? He was in the plane. What could he see from the plane? What could he see? He saw his city. And what did the city look like? What did the city look like? Very small, right? On land, how did the city appear? On land, how did the city appear? Unplanned, haphazard, something going here and there and like that. But when you went higher and higher in the sky, how did the city appear? It's appeared very planned and organized. Yes, it seemed much better. So that means in the sky, everything looks much clearer, much better. Yes, so very small and very small. And then he was able to see also that how on the map things are put to a scale. They're made smaller so that they can fit on the map. And what was the city looking like from the distance? The city was looking like from the distance, it was looking like a small map only. Is this clear? Give me a yes or a no. Tell me, yeah? Ragbir? Yes, Hargunjot, Jayant, Kanav, Kashish, all of you. Is it clear? Okay. Now, what I'll come to the poetic devices later on. First of all, I just want you all to get an idea. Okay? Are you writing it down? Are you noting it down? Of course, yes, the lectures are there also. You can listen to them again and again, right? So it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. That why it was so unplanned, why it was like this, why was the need for a road to go that side, why was it a need for that new colony to be built that side. So things which we don't understand on land, when we look at them, it seems they look much more clearer, much more planned. Okay, and as he went higher and higher, things which were looked very unplanned, they seem to be much more clearer as they were put on a smaller scale. Okay, right. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran. Now, when the plane took off, it was not at such a height, you say maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 feet. What could he see very clearly? He could see his city clearly. But as the plane rose higher and higher, now at 10,000 feet, what was he able to see clearer? His country. Yes? Right? So he was able to see his country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. So things that you're taught in geography, yes, so that along the rivers, that is where human settlements they came, yes, for agriculture, for irrigation purposes. So that is why near the river it was there. And then in the valleys also. So from the valleys, yes, so that settlement was easier, the human inhabitation there. And yes, so not in those high mountainous areas. Okay, so in the valleys there. So he's understood now why were these valleys populated? Because that is where humans lived. That is where the human population was more. So he's understanding that, right? What are the things? So as he goes higher, how high is the plane now? How high is the plane now? It's at 10,000 feet. And what is he able to see clearly? Earlier he could see a city. Now what can he see? What can he see? He can see his country. Vedanti, are you listening, beta? Angel, Manika, Manya, are you all listening? Yes? Okay, so what could he see now? He could see his country. Yes. The logic of geography, that land and water attracted man, was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. So when the aeroplane reached the height of 10,000 feet, what is there? We've learned in our geography lessons that where there is land, where there are rivers, man is going to settle down over there. Or that is what history has shown us. That is what geography has shown us, that human inhabitations, they were found or they were made along the course of the river, right? So the valleys were there and these places. So yes, so geography is becoming very clear to him, right? Delineated. Delineated means it was shown very clearly, right? When the jet reached 10,000 feet. So what is the height at which the jet is flying? 10,000 feet. What can he see? He can see his country. What is there? What logic of geography becomes very clear to him? What logic of geography becomes clear to him? Yes, what can he see? He can see the rivers, he can see the land and water. Yes, very good, Pranjali, that the land and water, it's there, attracted man. All this became very, very clear, right? And yes, how was he be able to understand that? Once again, it's a geography lesson. Yes, so the geography lesson, and in the earlier chapter that we have done in the tsunami one also, the little girl Tilly, she was able to relate to a geography lesson. That means geography is such an important subject, is it? Yes. So so that he is able to put his logic or what he studied in his geography lesson and realize, okay, that's why there are so many people around here. Yeah, when he looks at the rivers and he looks at the land. When the jet rose 6 miles high, when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear that the earth was round and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the men on earth found causes to hate each other, to build walls across cities, and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Can you read this last stanza? All of you read it. Yes. So from why is the third stanza different from the other two? Why is it different from the other two? Yes. Why is it different? Does this stanza, what is there? The first two stanzas taught him things very clearly. Yeah. But now in the first two stanzas, he was able to find that logic, he was able to understand, okay, I thought, why is it everything so unorganized? Now, when he looks, yes, there was a need for development. There was a need for growth. That is why there has been this very haphazard growth has been there. Second stanza, as he goes, rises 10,000 feet above the sky, he notices that, yes, there are rivers and there's land, and what is there in geography? It's absolutely correct. Fine. Now, as he's gone 6 miles, and from that height, he can see the earth. What are the things that he realizes? There's more sea or there's more land? What is more? There's more sea than land, right? Then what is it that he does not realize, or what is it that he's not able to understand? There's more sea than land, yes, exactly. And he says that why is it there around the cities, across the countries? What is the need to build walls? Right? So on the earth, he does not see any borders, he does not see any differentiation, he does not see any boundaries. Who has created these boundaries? Man has created. Till now, his geography lesson could explain these things to him, but now, can the geography lesson explain this? No, the geography lesson cannot explain it to him. And right now, when he can see the earth from such a height, he's gone so high in the sky, it's like what, 6 miles high he's there, he can see the earth. Yes, so the earth is not meant to be divided. But we want this land for me. This country wants more land, and this land belongs to this country. We have created these borders. Earth did not create these borders. When the earth was there, created so many million years ago, there were no boundaries, nothing. Then man came. Then what did man do? Along the rivers, in the valleys, started living, and of course, so much of growth that he's created so much of problems on the earth. And one of the smallest problem is that he created these borders, he created these boundaries. Okay, right. So it was difficult to understand. The men on the earth found causes to hate each other. They all hate each other. That is why the borders are there. That is why the boundaries are there. That is why you can say the barriers are there. To build walls across cities and to kill. From that height, it was not clear why. Yes, right. So there is no difference here, like, of course, there's more sea than land, but that land which is there, it has been divided into small, small parts, countries that are there, borders that are there. And he's wondering that where did this hatred come from? Who has taught man to hate? Earth has not taught, right? When he looks around, man has learned so much from geography, man has learned so much from nature, then why hasn't man not learned this simple thing? That why do you hate each other? Why are you creating these boundaries and the barriers? Okay.